Hello! We are so excited to show you our native speech capabilities. Welcome back to the English Journey. Today, we are discussing a place where many of us spend most of our time, the workplace. My name is Anna, and I am here to guide you through the language you need to describe your day at work with confidence.
And I am Abel. I am so glad to be here with you, Anna. Talking about our jobs can be difficult because there are so many specific words for meetings, deadlines, and colleagues. Today, we want to share some easy ways to talk about your daily office routine and how to handle common work situations in English.
That is absolutely right, Abel. And I want to say something important to everyone listening right now. Whether you work in a big office tower in the city, in a small local business, or even from your kitchen table at home, the English you use at work is some of the most important English in your life. When you can describe your day clearly, ask for help professionally, and participate in a meeting with confidence, you feel stronger. You feel more capable. So let us begin at the very beginning of the workday. Let us talk about the morning commute.
Oh, the commute, yes. This is something I think about a lot because honestly, Anna, my commute is not simple. I take 2 buses and then a short walk to get to my office. It takes me about 15 minutes each way. And when I first started this job, I did not know how to explain this to my colleagues when they asked me questions like, how do you get to work? Or how long does it take you to get here every morning?
That is such a common experience, Abel. And the word commute is the key word here. To commute means to travel regularly between your home and your workplace. You can use it as a verb or as a noun. For example, as a verb, you can say, I commute to work by bus. Or as a noun, you can say, my commute takes about 50 minutes. Both are perfectly natural and professional ways to speak. And there are some other very useful phrases connected to the morning routine. For example, you might say, I leave the house at 7:30, or I arrive at the office around 8:15. These simple time expressions help your colleagues understand your schedule, and they help you feel more connected to the team.
Right, and I remember the first time someone at work asked me casually, did you have a good commute this morning? I was confused for a second because I was not expecting a question about my journey to work. I thought they were going to ask me about a project or something official, but it was just friendly conversation. They genuinely wanted to know if the traffic was bad or if the buses were running on time.
And that brings us perfectly to our next topic, which is office small talk. That question about your commute is a perfect example of small talk. Small talk is light, casual, friendly conversation about everyday things. It's not about serious topics. It's about building a comfortable, friendly atmosphere with the people around you. In an office, small talk happens most often in 2 places. One is the coffee machine, or the break room, and the other is the beginning of meetings, during those first few minutes before everything officially starts.
The coffee machine conversations are very interesting to me because they feel so natural for native English speakers. But for someone like me who is still building confidence in English, they can feel a little scary. You don't have much time. Someone is making coffee, you're waiting for your turn, and you need to say something friendly and appropriate. What are the best things to say in that situation, Anna?
Great question. So the classic small talk question in English, especially at the beginning of the week, is, how was your weekend? Or you might hear, did you do anything nice over the weekend? These are open questions. They invite the other person to share something personal, but not too personal. A good answer doesn't have to be long or impressive. You can simply say, it was nice and relaxing, thanks. I spent some time with my family. Or, it was pretty quiet actually. I just rested and recharged. And then, importantly, you turn the question back to them. You ask, what about you? Did you have a good weekend? That shows that you're interested in the other person. It keeps the conversation going naturally.
I love that phrase, I recharged. That feels very modern and very honest, because honestly, on some weekends, that's exactly what I do. I just rest. I don't go anywhere exciting. And I used to feel embarrassed to say that because I thought my weekends sounded boring compared to my colleagues. But actually, when I started saying things like, I had a quiet one, I just rested and recharged, people would smile and agree. They would say, "Oh, I know that feeling," or "Yes, sometimes you just need that."
Exactly. And that's the beauty of good small talk. You don't need to have an exciting story. You just need to be genuine and warm. Another very useful phrase for Monday mornings is, "I can't believe the weekend is already over," or "I feel like it went by so fast." These are phrases that almost everyone in an office can relate to immediately. They create an instant sense of connection because everyone feels the same way. The weekend always feels too short when you're back at your desk on Monday morning.
That is so true. Okay, so now I want to talk about something that made me feel quite stressed when I first joined my current company, and that is meetings. Meetings in English are a completely different experience from just having a regular conversation. There's structure, there's an agenda, people talk over each other sometimes, people use very specific phrases. And I remember sitting in my first big team meeting and feeling completely lost, not because of the ideas being discussed, but because of the language being used.
Can you describe that experience a little more, Abel? What exactly made you feel lost? Was it the speed of the conversation, or was it specific phrases you didn't recognize?
It was both, actually. The speed was one issue. When people are discussing something with energy and passion, they speak quickly. But the bigger issue was the specific phrases. For example, someone said, "Let's circle back to that point later." And I thought, circle back? What does that mean? Are we going in circles? I didn't understand that it simply means we will return to that topic or that idea later in the conversation.
Oh, those are such perfect examples, Abel, and I'm so glad you shared them. Workplace English is full of these kinds of expressions. They're called idioms or business idioms, and they're used so often in meetings that they start to feel like a completely different language. Let me give you and our listeners a few more examples with clear explanations. When someone says, "Let's put a pin in that," it means let's pause on this idea for now and come back to it later. When someone says, "Can we get everyone on the same page?" it means, can we make sure everyone understands the same information and has the same understanding of the situation? And when someone says, "I want to make sure we're all aligned," it means, I want to confirm that everyone agrees and is moving in the same direction.
Okay, those are incredibly helpful. And what about when you're in a meeting and you don't understand something? What is the polite and professional way to ask for clarification in English without sounding like you're not paying attention or that you're not competent enough?
This is one of the most important skills in professional English communication, and I want to be very clear about something first. Asking for clarification is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of professionalism. It shows that you want to understand correctly before you take action or give your opinion. So here are some phrases that work beautifully. You can say, "Could you clarify what you mean by that?" Or, "I want to make sure I understand correctly. Are you saying that?" And then you repeat back what you heard in your own words. Another excellent phrase is, "Sorry, could you repeat that last part? I want to make sure I have the right information." These phrases are polite, they're direct, and they're completely appropriate in any professional setting. No good manager or colleague will ever look down on you for using them.
I wish I had known those phrases in my early days at work. There were so many times I just nodded along in a meeting and pretended I understood everything, and then I had to spend an hour afterwards trying to figure out what had been decided. It would have been so much more efficient to just ask in the moment.
And you are definitely not alone in that experience, Abel. Many people, even native English speakers, do not ask for clarification as often as they should because they worry about how it looks. But the most effective communicators are the ones who make sure they understand clearly before moving forward. Now, let us also talk about how to share your opinion in a meeting, because that is another area where many English learners feel hesitant. They have a good idea, but they are not sure how to introduce it or how to enter the conversation politely.
Yes, that is a real challenge. Sometimes everyone is talking and you want to add something, but you don't want to interrupt rudely. How do you do it professionally?
There are some wonderful phrases for this. To enter a conversation or add your point, you can say, "If I could just add something here," or "I would like to build on what Sarah just said." The phrase to build on means you're taking someone else's good idea and adding to it, which also shows that you were listening carefully. You can also say, from my perspective, or in my experience, and then share your view. And if you want to disagree with someone respectfully, you can use a softening phrase first, such as, I see your point, and I also think that, or that's a valid idea, though I wonder if we might also consider. These phrases let you express a different opinion without creating conflict or sounding aggressive.
These are gold, Anna, honestly. Okay, let us move to something that I deal with every single day, and that is email. I write and receive dozens of emails every week, and for a long time I struggled to find the right tone. I didn't want to sound too formal and stiff, like I was writing a legal document, but I also didn't want to sound too casual, like I was texting a friend. It felt like walking a tightrope.
Email language is truly an art, and you have described the challenge perfectly. The goal in professional email writing is to sound warm, clear, and respectful without being overly formal. Let's start with email openings. Instead of the very stiff phrase, "Dear Sir" or "Madam," which sounds very old-fashioned and distant, you can write, "Hi Sarah" or "Hello Sarah," followed by a comma, and then a warm opening line. For example, "I hope you're having a good week so far," or "I hope this message finds you well." That second phrase is a classic, and it works in almost every professional context. It's polite without being too formal.
I use that one all the time now. I hope this message finds you well. It just feels right for starting an email to a colleague or a client. What about when you need to make a request in an email? How do you ask for something without sounding demanding?
This is so important. In English, the way you make a request can completely change how it's received. Instead of saying, "Send me the report by Friday," which sounds like a command, you can soften it significantly by saying, "Could you please send me the report by Friday?" Or even more politely, "Would it be possible to send me the report by the end of the week?" Adding the words please, could, would, and would it be possible immediately makes a request sound much more respectful and professional. And when you're following up on something, meaning you're checking on a request you made before, a very natural phrase is, "I just wanted to follow up on my previous email regarding the report." The word regarding is a slightly formal but very common and appropriate word in professional emails that simply means about.
And what about closing an email? I sometimes feel unsure about how to end. I know best regards is very common, but it has always felt slightly cold to me. Are there warmer options?
Absolutely. Best regards is professional and neutral, and it's always safe to use. But you're right that it can sometimes feel a little distant. Warmer alternatives that are still completely professional include warm regards, kind regards, or simply thanks and best. If you have a slightly closer relationship with the person you're emailing, you can even just write many thanks or looking forward to hearing from you. The closing you choose really depends on your relationship with the recipient and the tone of the overall message. Over time, you'll develop a natural sense of which closing feels right for each situation.
That's really helpful. Okay, now I want to talk about one of my favorite parts of the workday, and that is the lunch break. I genuinely love my lunch break. I think it's underestimated as a professional opportunity. For me, it's not just about eating, it's about connecting with my colleagues in a different, more relaxed way.
I completely agree, Abel, and you have touched on something very important. The lunch break is a social and professional tool that many people overlook. When you eat lunch with your colleagues, you build relationships that make the formal parts of work, like meetings and collaborations, much smoother and more comfortable. And talking about food is actually one of the easiest and most enjoyable forms of small talk in any language, including English.
Exactly. And I've noticed that in my office, the lunch conversation almost always starts the same way. Someone looks at what you're eating and says, "Oh, that looks good. What is that?" Or they might ask, "Did you bring that from home or did you go out?" And from that simple question, you end up having a 15-minute conversation that covers food, culture, favorite restaurants, and even weekend plans. It's amazing how much connection can happen over a shared meal.
And the vocabulary around food and lunch breaks is very accessible and enjoyable to learn. You might hear phrases like, "I'm starving," which is a slightly exaggerated but very common way to say you're very hungry. Or someone might say, "I need a proper break today," meaning they need a real rest, not just a few minutes at their desk. Another common phrase is, "Let's grab lunch together," where the word grab is used informally to mean get or have quickly. It sounds casual and friendly, and it's a very natural way to invite a colleague to join you for lunch.
I use that phrase all the time now. Let's grab coffee, let's grab lunch. It just sounds so natural. I also love the phrase, "I brought leftovers from last night." Leftovers are the food that remains after a meal the previous day. And in an office, when you bring leftovers, everyone always wants to know what it is and how you made it. It becomes a whole conversation about cooking and home life. And I find those conversations really help me feel closer to my team.
That's such a lovely observation. Now let's move to a topic that is perhaps less pleasant but absolutely essential to talk about in any workplace, and that is dealing with deadlines. A deadline is the final date or time by which a task or project must be completed. And the language around deadlines can be quite stressful, but knowing the right words helps you navigate that stress much more effectively.
Oh, deadlines. This is very real for me right now, actually. This week is particularly intense at work. I have 3 different projects with overlapping deadlines, and I've been feeling quite overwhelmed. That's actually a word I learned recently in English, overwhelmed. It means you have so much to deal with that it feels like too much to manage at one time.
And overwhelmed is exactly the right word for that feeling. There are several other very useful expressions for describing a heavy workload. You might say, "I'm swamped right now," which is an informal but very common way to say you're extremely busy with too much work. Or you might hear someone say, "I'm up against a deadline," meaning the deadline is very close and the pressure is high. Another phrase is, "I have a lot on my plate right now," which is a very natural idiom, meaning you have many responsibilities or tasks to manage at the same time.
I love that one. A lot on my plate. It connects perfectly to the lunch conversation we just had. Everything in English is connected to food somehow. But seriously, these phrases are so useful because they help you explain your situation to your manager or your colleagues without sounding like you're complaining. You're just communicating your reality professionally.
Exactly right. And knowing how to ask for help with a deadline is equally important. It can feel uncomfortable to admit that you need support, but the most effective teams are built on open communication. So if you need to ask for help or for more time, you might say, "I want to flag something with you. I am concerned that I may not be able to complete this by Friday." The word flag in this context means to bring something to someone's attention, to make them aware of an issue. It is a very professional and direct phrase. You could also say, "Is there any flexibility on the deadline for this project?" Or, "Could we possibly adjust the timeline slightly?" These questions are respectful and solution-focused, which is exactly the tone you want in a professional environment.
And what about when you finish a difficult task or get through a stressful deadline? How do you talk about that feeling of relief and accomplishment?
Oh, there are some wonderful phrases for that. When you finally finish a big project or meet a challenging deadline, you might say, "I am so relieved that is done," or "I finally got that off my plate." And to get something off your plate means to complete and remove a task from your list of responsibilities. You might also hear, "That was a tough one, but we got there in the end." The phrase, "we got there," is a warm, team-focused way to celebrate completing something difficult together. It acknowledges the effort of everyone involved.
I genuinely love that phrase, "we got there." It feels like crossing a finish line together as a team. Okay, so we're coming toward the end of our imaginary workday now. Let us talk about the end of the day, that moment when you're getting ready to leave the office, or if you work from home, when you're closing your laptop and officially finishing your shift.
The end of the workday has its own set of phrases and rituals that are important for workplace culture. When people leave the office, they often say things to their colleagues as a friendly sign-off. Very common phrases include, "Have a good evening," or "I'm heading out now, see you tomorrow." The phrase, "I'm heading out," simply means, "I'm leaving now." Another phrase you might hear is, "I'm calling it a day." This is a very natural idiomatic expression that means, "I'm deciding to stop working for today." It's relaxed and friendly, and it's used by people at all levels of a company, from junior staff to senior managers.
I started using "I'm calling it a day" in my remote Teams chat group when I finish work in the evenings, and my colleagues really responded positively to it. It felt more human than just going offline without saying anything. It's a small thing, but it makes a difference to team culture, especially when you're working remotely and you can't physically see your colleagues packing up their bags.
That is such an important point about remote work communication. When you work from home, you have to be more intentional about these small social signals because you don't have the visual cues you get in a physical office. So saying something in your team chat like, "Great work today, everyone, I'm calling it a day," or "Wrapping up for the evening, have a good night," keeps the team feeling connected and supported, even across a digital screen.
And I think the end of the day is also a good time to reflect. I've gotten into the habit of spending the last 10 minutes of my workday just reviewing what I accomplished, and I find it really useful to have the English vocabulary to describe that reflection clearly, even just in my own head or in a quick message to my manager.
Reflection is such a powerful professional habit, and the language of reflection at the end of the day is quite natural and accessible. You might write or say, "Today I managed to complete the first draft of the proposal." The phrase "managed to" means you succeeded in doing something, often something that required some effort. Or you might say, "I made good progress on the marketing report today." Progress is a beautiful and motivating word. It means you moved forward, even if you didn't complete fully. And when you want to note what still needs to be done, you might say, "I will carry this over to tomorrow," meaning you will continue the task the following day. Or, "I will pick this up first thing in the morning," meaning it will be the very first thing you do when your next workday begins.
These phrases help you end the day with a sense of structure and calm, instead of just feeling exhausted and scattered. And I think that connects to something really important that we've been touching on throughout this whole conversation, which is the idea of work-life balance. That phrase comes up so often in English workplaces. Can you explain what it really means, Anna, and how we can talk about it naturally in English?
Work-life balance is one of the most significant concepts in modern professional culture, and it's absolutely worth taking time to explore deeply. At its core, work-life balance means finding a healthy and sustainable division between the time and energy you give to your work and the time and energy you give to your personal life, your family, your health, your hobbies, and your rest. It's not just about working fewer hours, it's about making sure that your job doesn't consume every part of who you are. And in English, there are many phrases that relate to this concept. You might hear someone say, "I try to switch off after 6 o'clock," meaning they make a deliberate effort to stop thinking about work after a certain time. Or someone might say, "I need to set some boundaries," meaning they need to establish clear limits on when and how much they work.
That word boundaries is so important, and I'm hearing it more and more in professional conversations. Setting boundaries sounds difficult, but once you have the language for it, it becomes easier to actually do it. You can say to your manager, "I want to be honest with you. I've been finding it difficult to disconnect in the evenings. I think I need to be clearer about my working hours." That kind of honest, professional communication protects your well-being and also helps your employer understand what support you might need.
Beautifully said, Abel. And the other side of work-life balance is recognizing the moments when work is actually going well, when you feel energized and productive and proud of what you've contributed. In English, a very positive phrase for this feeling is, "I had a really productive day today." Productive means you completed meaningful work effectively. Or you might say, "I feel good about what we accomplished this week." The word accomplished means successfully completed or achieved, and it carries a sense of pride and satisfaction with it.
I think that's what we all want from our workdays, really. Not perfection, not to finish every single task on the list, but to feel at the end of the day that we did something meaningful, that we communicated well, that we connected with our colleagues, and that we moved forward on things that matter.
And that, I believe, is the heart of everything we've discussed today. From the moment you start your commute in the morning, to the small talk at the coffee machine, to the challenges of a difficult meeting, to writing an email that sounds warm and professional, to enjoying your lunch break as a moment of real human connection, to navigating deadlines with clarity and calm, and finally to closing your laptop at the end of the day with a quiet sense of accomplishment. All of these moments are filled with language, specific, learnable, beautiful English language that you can practice every single day simply by going to work and paying attention to the words around you.
And that's the thing I want our listeners to really hold on to from today's episode. You don't need to be in a language class to practice your English. Your workplace is a classroom. Every meeting is a listening exercise. Every email you write is a writing practice. Every coffee machine conversation is a speaking opportunity. The more you engage with these moments consciously and with the vocabulary you're building, the more confident and fluent you will become over time.
Learning to talk about your work life in English is not just a professional skill. It's a deeply personal step towards feeling truly at home in the language. And every word you learn and every conversation you attempt brings you one step closer to the fluency you deserve.
And to everyone listening today, whether you're on your commute, on your lunch break, or winding down at the end of your workday, thank you for choosing to spend this time learning with us, because every minute you invest in your English is an investment in the life you are building for yourself.